I always had a test, an internal test when I interviewed with a firm. As I'm walking through the halls and I'm being escorted from one office to the next, I would look and see how people interacted in the hallway. If the attorney that was escorting me from one office to the next, did he or she say hi to the person that they passed by? It didn't happen everywhere that I went, but I really noticed that when I interviewed here. It was actually another associate at Dykema that got me into officiating. Mark Hess was an associate in the Lansing office. That's where I started with the firm. Mark was a high school official, and he had just taken an in-house position with a firm client in Toledo. That was 1988. Mark was still driving from the Toledo area into Michigan to work high school games and called me late that fall. He said, "You know what, I can't do this anymore. The commute's too rough. Would you be interested in being a high school official and taking my spot on my high school crew?" I had zero interest in it, but Mark said, "Hey, it'll be fun. Come on out. You can meet the crew, watch what we do." I said, "It might be fun." So I started officiating the following fall. I would really make myself scarce early Friday afternoon. Somebody knocks on your door, "Hey, this temporary restraining order came in. We've got to, spend all weekend responding to it, or we've got to get this memo to a client by Monday." Sometimes I would, change in the bathroom and sneak out the door before anybody saw me. And so it was a few years before it was generally known that I was doing this. I never got any static, never gave me a hard time about the fact that I was officiating. And they were very supportive of it. And what I've learned over the years is that if you want to be successful in officiating, you got to have a supportive employer. I believe deep in my bones, being a lawyer made me a better referee. Being a referee made me a better lawyer. There are a lot of skills that translate between the two. Not everything is covered in the book. It's like not everything is covered in the statute. And so you've got to figure out, well, what they mean here. And so I got a chance to use that skill that I developed as a litigator and take it out on the field, and it was comfortable for me. That's where lawyers live. It's in the gray area. Officials, we do the same thing. We live in the gray area. That's where we excel. And at that point, it's what's best for the game. Your insides might be churning, but you better look calm and look like you know what you're doing on the outside. You need to be in control of yourself, and you need to be in control of the room. People come up to me all the time, younger officials, high school, small college, and they all want to know the same thing. How do I move up? How do I move from where I am? How do I move from high school to college? How do I move from small college to the Big Ten? How do I get from the Big Ten to the NFL? And I always tell them the best way to move up is to stop worrying about moving up. Be the best that you can where you are. The way that I got on the NFL's radar screen was I was working a Division II game in Erie, Pennsylvania. Mercyhurst was playing Ferris State. There probably were 2,000 people in the stands, if at all. And one of those people happened to be a former NFL official who was there to watch his grandson play. And he watched the crew, and he reached out to me and he said, you need to apply to the NFL. And I tell people, you never know who's watching. You talk to any NFL official, they will tell you exactly where they were when they got that call. It was a Tuesday, late March 2010. I was actually on my way into a legal department meeting. The phone rings, I look, and it's a 212 area code and a 450 exchange. And I knew who the call was coming from. So answer the phone, and Mike Pereira was on the other end of the line, and he says, we'd like to welcome you to the NFL officiating staff. And I have zero idea of what happened after that. I'm pretty sure I made it to that legal department meeting, called my wife, called my mother, called my kids. It was a pretty surreal day. Preseason's fast, but the regular season is where the intensity gets ramped up. The starters are playing the whole game, and it really did have a different vibe. I remember there was a side judge, so I'm responsible for bringing the Colts out on the field and standing on the Colts sideline for the national anthem, and I'm busy praying that nobody can see how much my knees are shaking. And right after the national anthem, somebody nudges me in the ribs, and I look, and it's Peyton Manning, and he gives me a smile, and I'm like, okay, I think I got this. I don't remember anything that happened in that game, but it was the most fun I'd ever had officiating. Super Bowl crew is always notified the Tuesday after the divisional game. So there's 4 referees working that weekend. So one of those 4 is going to get that call on Tuesday. And if you think there's a chance you're going to get called, you're thinking about it all day, and it's probably around noon, and I'm thinking, well, they've already made the calls, so I'm not going to get a call. Phone rings, I look, it's a 212-450 number, and Walt Anderson's on the other end of the line, and he says, I'm calling with the call that you've waited your entire career for. You're going to be the crew chief for Super Bowl 56. Hung up the phone, ran in the other room, grabbed my wife, hugged her, said, we did it. For me, the most nerve-wracking part was getting past the coin toss. I'm like, gosh, whatever you do, please don't screw up the coin toss. And that was when sort of the magnitude of the game hit me. Like, otherwise, why are we broadcasting the coin toss? This is a huge deal. After that, it kind of settled down for me. I was able to just focus on officiating the game. Everybody clears the field. You've got 2 teams out there, and now the game belongs to me, and to this crew. And that's what we're used to. And that's when I get the most comfortable. But I remember there was a point in the 4th quarter, I walked up to my umpire and I said, this is the first time in 30 plus years of officiating that I didn't want a game to end. We were having so much fun and I was enjoying it. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm working the Super Bowl and it's about to be over. Honestly, saying yes to Mark Hess when he asked me if I would be willing to become an official and take his spot on his high school crew, it sounds like a pretty small thing, but that was a big thing for me. That was I'm not big on taking lots of leaps, and that was a leap that I took because it sounded like it was something interesting. And so I would love to tell my younger self, thank you thanks for taking that leap, for doing something that was really kind of uncomfortable for me, but I learned so much from it. And the training and the experience that I got here helped me get ready for that. And so, hey, you know what? Listen to that little voice